Welcome to our Yurtiful Life podcast. In today's episode, we will be discussing meal planning for a large family.
Hey there, Yurties.
Thanks for joining us today. For anyone new here, I'm Keegan.
And I'm Sarah. We've been living a minimal off-grid lifestyle for over 10 years now.
We have a large family and lots of experiences to share.
So let's get to it. Welcome to
Our Yurtiful Life.
Hey guys, so we have a large family and we do regular meal planning. And we've been asked about that a lot. And so we thought today we would discuss that with you.
Okay, Sarah, so why meal plan?
Well, we have found that meal planning overall helps make our life smoother. It helps with our rhythm and our routine. And overall, it just helps give a pace to the day in and day out of large family life. And also, we found that it's very much a help with money saving.
Yep, I've definitely found this to be true. Our finances have been better in the area of food spending when we already know what it's going to go into. When Sarah's already planned out and gotten meals planned, then you know what food you need for those meals. It just does make things easier. It's like working backwards. By the time you get to the grocery store, you know what you're looking for. Also, this kind of feeds into how has meal planning helped us?
Well, it not only has made life smoother and given us a rhythm and routine, but it also helps give a lot of mental clarity. Nobody has to ask every single day, Mom, what's for breakfast? What's for lunch? So it helps give everybody some clarity. It gives us a set grocery list, which again helps with budgeting. And it helps with routine, which is huge when you have a neurodiverse family. Also, I struggle with energy issues because of different health concerns, and meal planning really has helped me to conserve energy and put more energy into areas that I do really enjoy. Now, don't get me wrong, some days I like cooking. Some days I enjoy meal prep. But the majority of times, that's not something I love doing. I do it because it's my job as a mom and to make sure my family is fed well. But really, I don't love cooking. And I know that surprises a lot of people, and it surprises my kids when I tell them that. But no, cooking is not always my favorite thing to do.
I can definitely speak to the neurodiverse part, being a neurodiverse individual myself and all of my children having different versions of it. Having a plan, knowing ahead of time, at least even within the day, what you're going to be eating, really can give like an anchoring to your day. It can give you security, where food is a big deal for everybody, but especially autistic and neurodiverse individuals. So when you know ahead of time what's going to be there, you kind of find a comfort in that. So the meal planning helps my wife because she knows what she's going to make and she can plan her day accordingly. But then it helps us have a sense of security going into the day. We know what we're going to look forward to.
Okay, so as far as meal planning, there are several basic methods to meal planning. Really, you need to figure out what works best for you. Now, you can have a recipe bank and have easy, moderate, and hard recipes and choose the recipes for your day based on the bandwidth you have. You could do a set schedule rotation of meals every single day. You're going to choose one of these, or maybe you only meal plan your dinners. There's many different ways. There's meal categories, Taco Tuesday, Pizza Friday. So, how do we meal plan in our Yurtiful family? And it may be very different from what you need to do to work for your family, and that's okay. We're just going to share what we do and how it works with our family and why it works for our family at this season, because it has changed over the years.
Right. So what do we use?
Originally, we used a set rotation and used this as for a time when I started really focusing on meal planning. We used a set rotation of meals, and this helped regain and reset from the chaos. I did the same breakfast every single day. I did the same lunch almost every single day, and dinners, I had a set 7 dinners, and that's the only thing we did every week. And I think it was 6 months to a year that we did this same rotation. And really that got me into first the habit, but we were also coming through a very stressful time in our life when I started doing that, and I did not have the mental bandwidth to think about food. I really just couldn't handle thinking about it. So, having a very tight, boring set rotation that we stuck to more or less with very little variety for about a year helped us to rebalance and get through burnout phase. Now, we have been out of that burnout phase for a while now, and we've been able to change our meal plan and work. But I encourage people, if you're going through burnout, and we'll do an episode about burnout later on and go into more details about rebounding and how to heal from burnout. But for us, being very boring with our food was a method of survival. And it came down to very strategic meal planning and just a very strict rotation. Now, what we do now is we have set meals for breakfast and lunch. So our meal plan looks something like this. On the first day of the week, Sunday, we do a brunch. Usually it's eggs, potato, turkey bacon, deer sausage, something along that lines. It's a brunch. On Mondays and Tuesdays, we have oatmeal. Wednesday is a brunch day. We have pancakes. Thursday, Friday, oatmeal. And on Shabbat, on Saturday, we usually have some sort of pastry, cinnamon rolls, coffee cake, banana bread, something to that effect. So that is our general breakfast, and that is the same every single week. My kids don't they don't call Wednesday Wednesday. Wednesday is pancake day.
Yep.
And they just know we have oatmeal 2 days, then we have pancake day, and then 2 more days, and then we have cinnamon roll day. Then we have brunch, then we have oatmeal. That's how they work and how their mind is functioning at this point.
I'll also add here that oatmeal, as everyone knows, if you have it a lot, can get boring. And so kids are still kids. They might get bored of it, but it helps them to enjoy it and eat it knowing they're going to have something to break that up throughout the week. So that still makes it an affordable 4 of the days of the week. We're having an affordable breakfast and then 2 special breakfasts.
And I will say we don't give the children just plain oatmeal. We do spice it up, switch it up between raisins and nuts. One of my kids' favorite versions of oatmeal is what they call Mountain Peak oatmeal, where they put coconut flakes on it and shredded coconut with their oatmeal. So there's lots of different ways we'll spice it up and switch it up with berries and things like that. But again, oatmeal overall, some people
More
don't love it.
affordable than some other types of breakfast.
Yep. Yes, and it tends to be fairly healthy. So for lunches, again, we have a fairly set rotation of lunches. Generally, we do sourdough sandwiches and veggie sticks. Sometimes if there's leftovers, the kids will have leftovers, or yogurt. When we have yogurt around, we'll do that. But generally, they know we're having sourdough sandwiches of some kind, either tuna or cold cuts or nut butter, some sort of sourdough sandwich for lunch.
And Sarah does make a loaf of sourdough almost every day, so that's a way that we keep eating fresh bread. The next set keeps going through it.
So yes, I make sourdough on a regular basis. I make sauerkraut on a regular basis. And for snacks, we just always have fruits and veggies, nuts, dried fruits, trail mix, granola, things like that that are good, healthy, nutritious snacks for the kids. We always keep those on hand and have those as needed throughout the day.
And carrots and apples are favorites.
Absolutely. Now, for dinners, we now go by category. So I'll just go through real quick what our categories for our weekly dinners are. So Sunday is Simple Sunday. We do things such as grilled cheese sandwiches, nachos, salad, soup, leftovers, sourdough pizza, toast pizza. Any one of those things.
And by toast pizza, she means a slab of sourdough bread that has sauce on it, or even salsa. Kids like that sometimes, and some cheese and maybe some turkey pepperonis.
So yes, that is one of my kids' favorites.
And
is
super
their
simple
mini toast pizzas. And yeah, I just slice the bread up and the kids will do it themselves to build their own pizzas. And like an open-faced pizza sandwich. It's a great, simple, easy dinner. So Sunday is Simple Sunday, and at the beginning of the week, I will go through each of these categories and pick what I'm going to do for the week so I have the set week. But my kids know that Sunday is Simple Sunday, so it's going to be one of these items this week. Monday is Meatless Monday. We either do beans and rice, a tofu fried rice, garlic rice, salad, refried beans and chips, something along those lines. Taco Tuesday, we have taco salad, burritos, chimichangas, tacos, refried bean bowls, anything kind of Mexican,
Yep.
Southwest
Something in
related.
those areas. Yep.
Wednesday is either Pasta Pot Wednesday or Wok Wednesday. This is the day we either do a stir fry, lumpia, or what I call naked lumpia, which is lumpia on a bowl of rice but no wrapper. And for those who don't know, lumpia is a version of a Filipino egg roll. So it's kind of a stir fry filling.
It's the filling that would be in
And
the
it's
roll.
normally wrapped in a wrapper. And if we don't have wrappers, I just make the filling and put it over rice. And if it's Pasta Pot Wednesday, then we do some sort of pasta dish.
Yep. A red sauce spaghetti.
Or the family loves to have chicken pasta or chicken garlic, lemon spinach pasta. There's a lot of different varieties. So we just know that we're either going to have an Asian-based meal or a pasta meal on Wednesday. Thursday is Thrifty Thursday. This is a day I use up any leftovers from the week. I do something simple like beans and rice, a lentil dish. Thrifty Thursday is about saving money, using up what's left over before the weekend. Usually Thursday or Friday is when we do a grocery run. And so for our family, Thrifty Thursday uses things up. Friday is Fun Food Friday. So we either do things such as sourdough pizza and popcorn. Someday we will do a roast and a chicken, or a roast duck, or mutton roast. With the roast, we'll do veggies, challah, and a dessert to make it fun. And on Saturday, or Shabbat, we will either do a sheet pan Shabbat or sushi Shabbat. My family absolutely loves sushi. And so sometimes we will do sushi Shabbats where we all make our own sushi at the table, or I make custom order sushis for the kids and we have a sushi bar. Or we do sheet pan Shabbat where we're doing some sort of casserole or crock pot meal, shepherd's pie, pot pie, lasagna. And sometimes we have sourdough pizza Shabbat where we do sourdough pizza. Now, this is just what we are doing now. I have a broad category of these are the days of the week, a fun name for each day of the week. And at the beginning of the week, I basically pick the menu for the week, knowing it's going to be one of those things. And if I don't have time to set out a pre-made menu at the beginning of the week, I know I always have things on hand for those menus, for those categories, and I can still pull out something quick because we've done this for a couple years now and have it tuned into what our family really needs. Now, as a neurodiversity note, you're going to probably be like, you eat a heck of a lot of pizza.
Yeah,
and yes, we do.
Yes, we do. Because we
Keegan,
love it.
I was going to say, why is this such a big thing for
pizza
you?
is just like a staple for us. It's very versatile, very easy to customize and make it, but it's also very simple, quick to make, easy to make extras and store them and freeze them if you need meals for the future. So pizza is just our go-to as a family.
I would say it does have a lot to do with the neurodiversity. It is easy for me to make pizza. Sourdough pizza is a very easy meal for me because my routine of making sourdough bread every single day, I always have starter going. I always have bread dough rising. If we decide we want sourdough pizza for dinner and say it's not a sourdough pizza night, it's a Wok Wednesday, but you know what? My energy is shot. I do not have the capacity to stir fry veggies and make rice. I'm just not there. I can take the bread dough that I have rising for the next morning. I can take that, put it onto a pan, turn it into pizza within 5 minutes, and have a nutritious sourdough pizza in the oven for my family and have everybody fed within about 20 minutes, which is much shorter than most other meals that I can make. So it is a fallback on low energy days for me. But also, like Keegan said, the because of the autism, the ADHD, the consistency of having something very, very, very regularly, I'm talking multiple times a week, some weeks, is soothing, you would say.
Yep.
It's refreshing, it's
Yes, it's
comforting.
part of how our brains work. We don't like surprises or change. So even something as simple as, oh, we're going to try something new for this, it can cause anxiety or um, nervousness on the smallest level. So even though it may be boring to neurotypical individuals, and why would you do that? For us, it's a form of security.
So I do know if everybody's having a very crazy neurodiverse day, and say somebody's having a meltdown and somebody else is having um, we're just having a lot of behavioral issues and people are kind of going off the rails, and it's just a very emotionally difficult day for a neurodiverse family. Those of you who live it know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
When we get to the end of the day, having a meal that everybody is comforting to everybody is a solidifying, grounding experience. Pizza is one of the few foods that most kids don't have a problem with, the texture, consistency. We have children who have extreme texture aversions and sensitivities, and but pizza is something they all agree on that they can eat and handle. And it may be different for your family, but having something that when we are having a very overstimmed day, that I can pull out, I can switch the menu last minute, say, no, we're doing pizza for dinner. It really does change the whole tone of the family because everybody relaxes, like, wait, this is comfortable. It's a reset for us. And so that may sound odd to some people, but we have found that in our family, pizza is kind of that way for our family. It's
Yep.
how it affects our kids and Keegan for that matter.
So yes, there's a lot of pizza, and that's on purpose.
Another neurodiversity note is Keegan touched on is routine and consistency is very necessary. It is very helpful to a neurodiverse mind to just know what to expect. Now, a few years ago, I mentioned were going through and just burnout and had to really just have a very boring meal plan. But even then, my kids would still ask, even though we had the same thing every single day, they would ask, Mom, what's for breakfast? Mom, what's for lunch? Mom, what's for dinner? Every single day, even though it was the same exact routine. Until about a year and a half ago, I took the time and I used some online graphic tools and I created a visual menu meal plan. That was a game changer with our kids. We posted the meal plan in a prominent place where everybody can see it. And anytime somebody asks, Mom, what's for fill in the blank, I would point to the meal plan and they can go look for it themselves. The visual meal plan was a game changer. It stopped almost overnight the kids asking what we were going to eat. And instead, they got excited to go check the chart and they knew they had the security. They could see, I'm having this. I'm having this. We're having this today. And even to the point where they would come to me, Mom, do you know it's Wednesday pancake day? Mom, do you know we get to have pizza tonight? Or whatever it might be. Mom, it's Taco Tuesday. Do you think we could do taco salad this week? Or, hey, I want burritos this week. It really was a game changer for us to have a visual cue for the children. And I don't have the energy to have just a board where I whiteboard update it every day. That's one option I've seen people do. So I just made a week-long menu, posted it, and that's the routine we stick with. And every 6 months, I go back through, revamp, evaluate, change what needs to be changed on it. We tend to have a slightly different meal plan for summer versus fall, winter. So we'll switch it up at that point. But otherwise, the visual meal plan has been a huge help for our family. And I think it helps you, Keegan, as well when I'm not available.
Yes, again, having that predictability, that schedule means you don't need that one individual in the family constantly creating the meal ideas. They've already done that work ahead of time. So if something happens where they're not available and my wife has to be an appointment, or for whatever reason, things land on me, I already have a reference, a guide. I can do my own thing, sure, if I'm being creative, or I can just say, hey, what would she usually do? Okay, I know how to do that.
It has also been helpful. We have our two older children are starting to enjoy cooking more and wanting to take on cooking responsibilities. And sometimes they will look at the schedule for the week and say, hey, I want to make this week. Can I make this? And they've really started to help with that, especially our oldest daughter has really started helping. She loves helping make the casseroles and the Shabbat pastries and cakes. So it's been really a blessing to have her help as well.
Well, I think it's about time to wrap this one up.
Yes, I have to agree.
So please like, share, subscribe, and join our email list.
And don't forget, go out
Dream big
and discover your own Yurtiful life.